The Fantasmagorium is proud to present Ghouls, Ghosts, and Goblins. Largely regarded as the studio that began Hollywood's love affair with the horror genre, Universal Pictures produced the films of the first movie monsters. Tonight's movie has everything: Invisible Man and a Phantom of the Operas, a Dracula, and a Junior. We are here to discuss and praise the 1941 film, The Wolfman. My name is Scotty R37. Kat has joined me under the full moon, and Steve is, well, you hear him howling around your kitchen door. You better not let him in. Little old lady got mutilated late last night. Werewolves of London again. What's going on, Kat?
Not much. I just picked up this new cane for the occasion.
Oh, delightful! You brought a cane. Oh my stars! But that's not Wolfen.
No, but it's the closest I could get, and it looks.
No, it's great. I'm not disparaging. What beast is that?
It was included with the. So I went to Old Town Sacramento to Evangeline's, a very old costume shop, and it was included amongst all the Plague Doctor costumes. And it's actually pretty sturdy. It's a pretty nice cane.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Is it silver?
No, but it looks that way.
No. Well, as long as it has the appearance, but it will not defeat a lichen.
Blue eyes and
but
the eyes are roll on it, so you could you really whack somebody with it.
You could beat the shit out of it. You could cook a fool if you needed to.
Yes.
Great. No, it goes really well with the hat. I love it. I'm so glad you brought it.
And I also brought this.
Oh yes. The continuing tale of Alex Ross's Steelbooks.
Yes.
That's delightful.
The Wolfman, 2 words.
I know. I should be saying
Wolfman that you posted earlier today. I did fix that.
The Wolfman. I didn't give an F.
Oh, looks.
But no, the thing there was, and this is absolutely nothing to do with the movie. But there was a Saturday Night Live skit ages ago, and it had, I forget who played Elton John, but it was a Halloween episode, and he continually referred to the Wolfman as the Wolfman. And I thought it was the most hilarious thing. And now, whenever I talk about the Wolfman, I don't. I talk about the Wolfman. And so it is frustrating, and I can understand how people would be frustrated by it, but it is something that I find personally hilarious.
Yes.
Personally. I am on my own. Speaking of being on my own, how are you, Angry Space Marine Finity? It's nice to know that you are working your way through several ranks. I were a teenage wolf. Yes. You know what? I want that, especially with that avatar. Dude, you're looking sharp. So today was the first time that I had ever seen this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Never seen it before. I was actually surprised because we sort of had a little bit of a love fest with Claude Rains.
Yeah.
And when I didn't know he was in this one. I was like, okay, I'm going to get Lon Chaney Jr., whatevs. And I don't know who else is in it. I think one of the brothers from Trading Places.
Right.
Hey, Ben, Cinema Gulp is here. It's good to see you, Cinema Gulp.
Yeah, which brother was it? And Bela Lugosi. Dracula's in this.
That's why I brought him up in the intro. We got a Dracula.
And so you got Lon Chaney, Claude Rains. I think Ralph Bellamy is the gentleman that I'm thinking. Yes,
of.
that's it.
Not Don Amici.
Is Colonel Paul Montfort in this film?
Yeah. Oh man.
Directed by George Wagner. This is a new guy for this series. Directed a lot of episodes of Man from U.N.C.L.E. and a couple episodes of Batman 66 TV series.
That's where okay.
Oh wait, he also directed no, he didn't direct Phantom. He directed he produced the Phantom of the Opera 1943 version.
Well, that makes sense in terms of the business aspect, having Claude Rains back as the Phantom.
Yes, and he also is a producer on Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and producer on Ghosts of Frankenstein. So he produced some of these films. Yeah. And once again, they have Jack Pierce, who did the makeup effects for The Mummy with Boris Karloff, come back to do the effects for the Wolfman.
And the same sort of fade transitions to make it sort of appear as the process of him transforming. Apparently, in the original screenplay, they were talking about not ever actually confirming that. Mm-hmm. It was going to be inferred, but never actually confirmed.
Cinema Gulp says this is my favorite Universal monster film.
You know what? It's hard to argue that. It's hard to. I still haven't seen the Frankensteins. I can't wait. We're gonna have a Frankenstein festival.
Sounds like you prefer Shakira's She-Wolf.
I would prefer Shakira's She-Wolf. Thank you, Eugene, for being here. I appreciate it. I've been checking my mailbox every day. Damn it, I hope it ships.
Cinema
it's going to be great.
Chaney had to sit still for hours during those face transitions. Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the makeup is, I think it's great. And the way that they sort of not juxtapose, but coordinate how they complement the Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance with the makeup effects. Like, I can't believe the physicality that he put into it, but also with the sound effects of the dogs. Like, it's not me dressed up on Halloween being like, "Rawr!" It's actually like, it is quite visceral. And a lot of that has to do with the sound design.
Yes. Ben says, I was chugging during the Wolfman segment on the Chug Show. Yes, I was.
So you don't remember this movie at all?
Because that reminds me of that song, I'm Just a Teenage Werewolf Baby by Wheatus.
Yes. Lemon's here. Lemon!
This movie, I thought the story was a little convoluted, but I do love the set design that Jack Otterman did. It looks really great. Very iconic, the woods and the castle and all that kind of stuff. And the story, the story is basically Lawrence comes back to his family home after hearing of his brother's death, and it's no secret that the brother was kind of, the favorite son, so to speak. There's some animosity that the village has towards the Talbot family, and we're not exactly sure what it is.
It's classism.
That, and they're like, oh, he's a Talbot. They got to be worried about those people, and he's kind of. They go through this weird.
It's kind of implied that they killed his brother, like it was a hunting accident,
right?
And so I figured. Like, and they don't, like, even Larry is not a big fan of the Talbot family. He went to America to flee these people.
Yeah.
It took the death of his brother to bring him back. And there's still animal. Also, I would love to, hang on, I got to check out the age difference between Lon Chaney Jr. and Claude Rains. I want to know if this is going to be, because Claude Rains plays Lon Chaney Jr.'s father. So let's see.
Matt G. Welcome.
Hey, Matt G. So Claude Rains was born in.
Eugene Bird says, you were on the wait list, it says. They took down the ships in September-October message that was previously up.
Oh. We have until Christmas. 1889 is when Claude Rains, and 1906. So not even remotely close to being old enough to be his father, I suppose.
No. But Claude Rains does carry that bit of air about him that he's kind of, I don't know, I think it worked well enough for the movie.
I thought it was, like, I think that this guy is coasting on his father's name. I thought that in this particular instance, because I was like, oh, Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney he was the man of 1,000 faces. He did his own makeup. And then I saw this, and it was like makeup effects by not Lon Chaney. And I was like, so why don't you credit him as being Lon Chaney Jr.? Universal, your marketing is working. And I was frustrated by it because I think that it would have been served better by a younger actor.
I I didn't mind it. Like again,
Like
the age difference.
he's kind of played as a simpleton oaf.
Well, Lawrence. Well, that's kind of the character.
Not Lawrence. No one calls him Lawrence. Everyone calls him Larry, which also undermines him. They treat him as everyone else is like Grand Constable or Sir. And I thought that he was sort of supposed to be like a Lil Abner kind of character. Because he's a peeping Tom.
Yeah, there's a whole weird subplot in this movie where his dad, is kind of an amateur astronomer, and Larry's fixing the telescope for him, and he starts spying on the neighborhood, and he sees Gwen Conliffe, whose father runs like the antique shop or whatever, and he has like a crush on her, and he goes to town and pretends to be like, oh, I could tell the future, I'm a fortune teller, to try and get close to her, and you find out that there are these gypsies in town, and that there's actually a surprise for 1941. I'm surprised they have a very positive opinion of them. They're not like portrayed negatively, and the townspeople don't like have any prejudices against them. It seems like you see sometimes townspeople going to them to get their fortunes told, and they seem to like them. So that was actually kind of refreshing for a movie from 1941.
I always treated the gypsy camp as being something sort of like a circus.
Well, it didn't really seem to be presented that way in this version. Like they didn't say, nobody really said anything disparaging about them or anything. So I thought that was kind of nice. That obviously has other negative connotations that some people have construed. Like apparently the word gypsy isn't even as kosher today. But
we're not supposed to say it.
So they're the Romanis, and so I thought that the romantic subplot where he's trying to get close to her and all this kind of stuff was a little weird. And then one night they're strolling through the woods and they hear this other woman who just got her fortune told. The Bela Lugosi was the guy telling her fortune, and he sees that pentagram symbol on her hand, which in their folklore means that you're going to be the next victim of the werewolf, and he urges her to run away, and she does. We hear the howling, which is again really great sound effects there, and Larry and Gwen are walking through the woods, and he says, "Stay here, I'm going to see what the lady's screaming about. Go save the day." And instead he fights this wolf and kills him with his silver-capped ferrule on his cane.
Yes.
And kills him, and then he goes home because he got bit by it, and they figure, oh, you just need to sleep instead of going to the doctor. But the next morning when the authorities go out to find this dead wolf, they instead find the dead son of Maleva, who's the leader of like the little gypsy camp or the Romani camp.
It's so fine. They say gypsy throughout the film. I'm going to use the vernacular of the film. But like, and when I first saw that, I was like, oh, okay, Bela Lugosi that's his wife. And then it wasn't until like I was like, oh no, that's his mother. Oh my stars. I want to see the disparity of age between
that
those
was funny
because
I kind of thought that too, even though she looks a lot older than he did. But because with the makeup, I thought, because he has a lot of makeup on too, I thought that they were like a couple, and then I was surprised that he's just the son. But
she doesn't even have a name in the movie. Her name is Gypsy Woman.
Yeah,
she was born in 1889, and Bela Lugosi was born in 1882. I thought they were a couple, and it was like, nope.
Yeah, and her name in the script is Maleva, but they never mentioned that in the movie, whereas his name is Bela, which is, of course, lazy. Oh, we'll just call him Bela because it's Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is actually how you pronounce his name anyway. And
Which
so I thought that was kind of fun. How you have, I like the cross-pollination with these Universal monsters with the casting, Okay, we got Lon Chaney's son playing the Wolfman. We got the Invisible Man, and later Phantom of the Opera as Sir John, and now we got Dracula as Bela, the first werewolf.
Well, and it's also the further we get into these movies, it's interesting just to be able to see how it is a studio system. Like part of the reason, what was it? I think that after this, it was after this that Claude Rains was out of his contract at Universal and he got a contract with Warner Brothers. But the reason he came back for 43's Phantom of the Opera is because he was in the middle of contract negotiations with Warner Brothers. But it's interesting, and I know it's like celebrity gossip of the 1940s. I know, fascinating, but it is what was going on. If you worked for Universal, you only were in Universal Pictures. And
Yeah.
so I do like how it sort of came back. And when I was surprised by Claude Rains, I was like, that's how it worked.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
So I like that. So the most of the movie, I'm always surprised when I revisit this movie that, you know, when the first werewolf attack happens, you can't really tell that it's a werewolf attack. It looks like just a regular wolf. Whereas here, this movie, most of the film is all the townspeople looking all sideways at the Talbot family, not because of the evidence that, oh, you claim you killed a wolf, but there was no wolf there. It was just this murdered man, and how they, you know, care about him. And you wonder, is it because they care about Bella, or is it because they just like the idea that Larry could be the killer because of the prejudices they have against the Talbot family? And then you have the whole romance going on with him and Gwen, and so that takes up a significant chunk of the runtime, and him just being paranoid and trying to figure out if he's like got schizophrenia, which the doctor suggests that, oh yeah, lycanthropy, it's basically like his own father suggests, oh yeah, it's schizophrenia, it's the dark side in every man's soul. And there's differences of opinion on how to treat it, but his father's just like, dude, you just need to stay inside and chill out and just relax.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing is that based on the predatorial nature of Larry at the beginning of the movie when he's checking out Gwen, and then he goes over and then imposes himself under false pretenses. And I'm just like, you're a creep, yo. Like you have to be either dumber or smaller. Like something about you just I don't like. And the rest of the movie is waiting for Larry to turn into a werewolf so that we can kill this man.
Yeah, and it's like, how many times does she tell him no? And he just says, oh, I'll be by 8:30 then, or whatever. She tells him no like 10 times, and it's like,
it's worse than Bond in Goldfinger.
Yeah, I'm reminded
It's
of that family.
stalking.
It's like, yeah, he is basically stalking her and insisting that he's going to follow her around and all that.
Yeah.
And this is in stark contrast to Bela when he found out that he was talking to a potential future victim, even though it was a complete stranger. He's like, get out of here, save yourself. Whereas, I mean, Larry doesn't.
Well,
and it's weird because even though Larry believes he's turning into a werewolf, he doesn't really try and do anything to restrain himself from leaving the house or anything. You know, his father eventually takes action in that regard, even though it doesn't work. But Larry
he does. Well, okay. So, but did Bela, or was it Gypsy Woman who gives him the charm? And when he begins to suspect that he's going to turn into a Wolfman, then he gives the charm to Gwen to protect her from his werewolf.
Yeah, Maleva gave the charm to him to protect him, and she does apparently have some type of powers as well, because when she first finds him as the Wolfman, she's able to utter this like incantation or whatever, and he turns back into Larry. Which I was like,
sun's getting real low there, big fella.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, lady, trying to help this werewolf, you're not really helping the community. You're kind of, you know, this guy's a killer and he's kind of creepy, but you're trying to help obscure the fact that he's a werewolf. It's like, okay. And I didn't even think about it, but it's way past, like almost 2/3 of the way in the movie until he actually becomes the Wolfman. You see him for the first time.
Yes. Well, they tease it, and I understand in terms of the filmmaking of it is that they do like they gnarl his toes and make him.
That was cool.
That was cool. And I liked how he sort of, when he left shot, he was walking on like the balls of his feet to make it look like a dog's foot or a wolf's foot. I thought that was really cool. And then I never questioned how he ran. I always figured he had, for lack of a better term, lichen legs. And so I got it. I thought it was rad. And I like that tease. But yeah, that's just a tease. You get to see his legs grow hair. You get to see his toes gnarl. And then
it's only like a few seconds later that you get to see him in full form out in the woods. And
yeah, but it's not as good, because the second time you see him, it's way better. It's a better highlight of all the makeup and everything like that. They get in close. But again, it establishes so much of the sound design in the first one when he like kills that was it the gravedigger?
The Gravedigger, yeah.
And it sounds like a snarling dog. And I thought it was really, really cool.
I also found it funny that when the authorities came and found the dead gravedigger, they're like, it's a wolf, and they're following the tracks. Like, don't you find it strange that it's a bipedal creature? They don't seem to notice the tracks.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny.
Well, okay, so, and here's the thing, and I was watching something, they're somewhat unrelated. But there's a Florence Pugh, Andrew Garfield movie coming out soon. And they were given flashcards of a dog wearing pants. Now, does a dog wear pants on all four legs or just the back two? Now, my choice is just the back two because the front paws, they're not legs, they're paws. You say shake a paw, they don't give you their back leg.
Yeah.
So dogs have hands. So do kittens. But we don't have a Catwoman movie yet. So Anyway, that was a tangent. Thank you for indulging me.
Yeah, so it's like the movie, like the bulk of the movie is like, yeah, this guy's kind of a stalker. I don't really feel for him. But then once he's realized he's going crazy, the movie wants you to kind of care. And I kind of do because he finally separates himself from her. And he's like, oh, you need to get away from me. It'll be safer. And
right.
Even though in the climax he does go back to her, tell her goodbye, basically, that he's going to run away.
Yes. Well, yeah, but that was ridiculous because he's all just turned back. He at this point, like the movie's only an hour and 9 minutes. It's 69 minutes long. So like we're not rushing over a whole bunch of stuff that happens. Although I did like the shooting range. But at the end of the movie, or not even the end, it's like 20 minutes before the movie ends. And he's been a werewolf. He gets caught in bear trap because they've been setting bear traps all over the place, which makes sense if you want to catch a dog. And so the old gypsy woman comes and gives the prayer and turns him back to save his life, essentially.
Yeah.
And then he gets up, walks it off.
Right.
Bear trap.
The injury isn't like an injury anymore because I guess it hurt the werewolf part of him, but now he's just he's human again. So I guess it's
super healing because remember he got bit and it didn't make a difference.
Yes.
Could be one of the benefits of being a werewolf. Hey, play nice. Whee! Delicious.
And Lemon Pie says there's something about a monster in a blazer. Jerry's like,
his hair is perfect.
Here's another funny thing. Yes. A lot of the lore about werewolves. Oh, yes, you're welcome, DJ Play Nice. Is that they turn into werewolves at the side of the full moon, but after he is turned back into a man and he runs to go and say goodbye to Gwen, and she's going to run away with him until he sees that she has the mark, which means she's the next victim. Mm-hmm. It's like the very next night he turns into a werewolf again. So I guess it's not just on the full moon in this version of the story.
They never really focus on the full moon.
Yeah, they don't. It's just something that seems to happen, I guess, each night once he becomes...
once he gets bitten?
Once he gets bitten, yeah.
But see, there's also a point when the gypsy camp packs up, like the circus leaves town, and it's like, why are you guys leaving in such a hurry? And it's like, there's a Wolfman in the camp. And it's like, you had one with you the entire time.
Yeah.
What? So, yes, my suspension of disbelief when it comes to the werewolf movie, it's gone. It's gone because these people have no personal security. I guess an exterior one, maybe it's because the gypsy woman was Bella's mom. Kept him in check kind of thing.
Yeah. Because this guy is not one of them. He's just, even though she tries to help him. And it's funny because they do give the definition of lycanthropy at the beginning, which does mention the cycles of the moon. So I guess they play around with that. But
it is actually a full moon outside where I am right now.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, here too. We had a full moon last night.
Northern hemispheres.
Yes. But
But the thing is okay, so after he walks off the bear trap thing, he goes and he warns Gwen and he says, I've got to get away. I don't want to put anybody in danger. And then the next scene is him coming downstairs after a long rest in his father's castle. And he's wearing a full suit.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I got to get away. I gotta, but I have to formally dress for my escape. The 1940s were weird when it came to dress codes.
He wanted to get all cleaned up so not to rouse suspicion, I suppose. Because the first night when he killed the gravedigger, he didn't know he had done it. I mean, he saw himself turning into a wolf, but it's almost like he didn't believe it, which is why he didn't run away the first time.
Right.
And then the second time, because the gypsy woman, or because Mileva told him what happened, he believed her. And seeing the mark of your next victim, which is, I keep forgetting that part of the lore. That's a thing I guess they invented for the movie. And how it's like a demonic pentagram, and even the bite mark on his chest is shown like a shape of a star.
That's hilarious, though. Remember, like, first it healed up really quick, but there's a scar after the fact, and it's a pentagram in a circle, and he's like, Father, isn't this weird? And Claude Rains is like, any animal could have made a scar like that. And it's like, it's a pentagram in a circle. No. I look like I've been branded. Although the level of formality between Larry and Sir Talbot, I appreciated that you could gauge where Larry was on the breakdown based on whether or not he was calling his, like, at the beginning, it's father. In the middle, it's sir. And at the end, there's just one, and he's like, Dad. And it's the most informal, but I love the way that Claude Rains responds to it. And he's like, I will help you. And so he straps the guy to a chair and says, watch us go find this beast. You're fine. You're just going nuts. You're stir crazy ever since you met that Gwen lady.
Yeah, he's like, no, he blames Mileva. He says, oh, she's been putting all these ideas in your head.
Oh, that's true.
And so he goes out to the woods by himself. You have the hunters who've built a hunter's blind to scout the wolf, and Mileva's out there randomly in her cart. And so when Gwen decides she wants to run back to Larry, after he initially told her off, she runs into Mileva in the woods, and she's like, oh, you should stay. And Mileva's like, you should stay with me if you know what's good for you. But then she freaks out and decides to run away anyhow. And of course, the straps aren't enough to hold back the Wolfman. So he comes out and attacks her, only to be shot at by some people. So he, runs away, and then he encounters his father, who also ran into Mileva. And he's like, you're the one who's been filling my son with all those crazy ideas. And then she starts telling him more about the wolf and how she rescued him. And he's like not really sure what to think until he takes off and runs right into his son, and is absolutely stunned by what he sees. And then he essentially beats him to death after a big fight with the silver feral, which is funny because everybody talks about the silver bullets. Like even at the carnival scene when Laurie is shooting at the little gun range and he shoots the wolf, and it's like, oh, you shot at like silver bullets. And even the hunters joke that you're kidding, you need a silver bullet if you want to kill a werewolf. But that doesn't happen in this. He gets killed by the silver feral again, just like he killed Bela with that.
Well, and the thing that is, and it was like, that was an expansion of the lore. I knew that you could do it with a silver bullet. They said like a silver tipped arrow, or if you want to club it to death with a silver cane, something like that. But that was an expansion. There are a lot of beatings to the death, which are great. Like two people get beaten to death with the same cane. But I think it's really, I think it's a touching attempt for a father to rescue a son from his own idiot predatory proclivities. I don't know. I think this movie might be woke.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. I'm just joking.
But then, he kills him. He comes back to being, he turns back into regular old Larry once Maleva says, your spirit will be able to rest now forever or whatever. And his father's just absolutely shocked to see. Well, first he was shocked to see that there is a Wolfman, and now he's even more shocked to see that it wasn't back his son. And the hunters assumed that that Larry must have ran to save Gwen and got killed by the wolf. So they're going to be still looking for a non-existent wolf now, and which they thought may have escaped a menagerie or something of the like.
No, didn't they explain it away? They said that. Oh, right. No, they're still going to be hunting for the imaginary wolf. Yes.
Yeah, they're going to.
I also like it. Apparently, this is the first of 5 appearances from Lon Chaney Jr. being the Wolfman, and so I don't know. Is there a sequel? Is there like a Wolfman Returns?
Well, there were quite a few different.
I know he's probably back for the Abbott and Costello.
There was House of Dracula, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, and yeah, those are the 4.
What would they do?
I don't know. So yeah, he also
Boris Karloff?
No, and Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Yeah.
No. See the Frankenstein's creature, I think, was played by actually Bela Lugosi in that one.
Holy shit!
And then Maleva came back. The same actress playing Maleva, the gypsy, came back.
No way!
Lon Chaney was back as the Wolfman.
Oh man, I want to see this. What is it? This is Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Frankenstein from 1943.
Holy crap! We're not watching that on this particular retrospective, but I do want to see it.
Yeah, it's Bela Lugosi is Frankenstein's monster, and Lon Chaney is the Wolfman. Yes, it's the resurrected Wolfman seeking a cure for his malady enlists the aid of a mad scientist who claims he will not only rid the Wolfman of his nocturnal metamorphosis, but will also revive the frozen body of Frankenstein's inhuman creation.
I can't believe that Frankenstein got the top billing.
Yeah, but
no, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. Again, it's a cinematic universe before Marvel.
And Boris Karloff does, however, appear in House of Frankenstein, where he plays Dr. Gustav Niemann instead of the creature.
You know what? The Karloff movie I want to see the most is that pseudo sequel
to
John
Phantom. Carradine as Dracula in that one, and Glenn Strange as Frankenstein and as Dr. Frankenstein, and then Lon Chaney as the Wolfman coming back, and it's like, okay, that's an interesting story. So yeah, they did a lot of, all sorts of crazy. They milked it for what it was worth.
Yeah. No,
like,
and it
doesn't just exist today, kids. They did that stuff a lot back then. Like Abbott and Costello meet everybody. They meet Frankenstein. They meet the Wolfman. They meet the Mummy.
Well, it's kind of like Scooby-Doo. They met Batman and the Harlem Globetrotters, and if you can mix and match whatever properties you have. Look, there was just a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Who knows what they'll do next? Chocolate and peanut butter?
Bride of the Gorilla. That's another one.
Bride of the Gorilla? What?
That's another one. A horror film from 1951.
Who's in that?
Barbara Payton, Lon Chaney Jr., Raymond Burr.
Raymond Burr?
It says, deep in the South American jungle plantation, manager Barney Chavez kills his elderly employer in order to get to his beautiful wife. But an old native witch witnesses the crime and puts a curse on Barney, who soon after finds himself turning nightly into a rampaging gorilla. That was a very poorly reviewed film. But
I don't care. Sounds rad.
But yeah,
I'm not going to this. I'm not looking for Malcolm X. I'm not looking for Schindler's List. I'm looking for a monster movie, which is why these are so fun.
Yeah, and so Maleva only reprised the role once, so they might not have had her character more than that. But yeah, these are.
What's next, lady doctors? I don't know if we could ever put society that close to the brink, Lemon. What?
Yes,
we're gonna watch Bride of Frankenstein.
I know.
Which isn't actually the Bride of Frankenstein, but the Bride of Frankenstein's monster.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. We're doing those. We're doing those two on Halloween, right?
If I don't have anything going on Halloween, we'd be doing Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein those days. Yeah.
But next week we're doing
Creature from Black Lagoon. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be rad, super. But I don't want to lose focus. I would like to stutter just a little bit, but I don't want to lose focus on the Wolfman. Like I think that the model work on the production was glorious. Costumes were where's it supposed to take place? In England?
Yeah, I think so. Out in the English country, countryside.
Yeah. Like I think the cinematography is good. Everything, like the town is well established. Mm-hmm. Like in terms of the geography of where everything is going on.
Yep. Lemon pie. Says, I love how my jokes simultaneously delighted Scotty and made Cat go,
That's right. We are both Ping and Pong.
Ping and Pong.
What is this? What did Finity say? Oh no, you're right. Finity says Schindler's List is a monster movie, if you think about it. True. I mean, it's not exactly a rom-com. Just saying. That's funny. But yeah, and I love the music. I love the acting. I think although again, like Lon Chaney Jr. was really good at being a Wolfman, but he wasn't very good at being Larry.
Well, I mean, he was what the character was written to be. You know, the weirdo stalker guy who then finds out that just like I said, it was kind of an odd story. It's like, okay, he gets away from the family, and like you said, it's kind of implied that was it a hunting accident? Was it murder? What's going on? And there seems to be a lot more information to this family or this story that the movie doesn't shed light on, which the remake from 2010 with Benicio del Toro dives into a lot more.
Oh yeah, I heard the director's cut of that was really better than the theatrical.
Yeah, which really dives into the antagonism between the Talbots and that kind of thing. But here it's just kind of
Is it worth seeing?
I thought so. I mean, a good set design was great, and the effects were cool. A lot of emphasis on gore and violence.
Oh, is it gory?
Oh, big time.
Oh, I thought it was tame. I heard it was tame. I haven't seen it.
Well, maybe because some people will think it's tame compared to other things. That it was very gory and bloodthirsty movie. Like he's a beast in this, and you see the Wolfman a lot more, and the father is like really evil. But that was I like that movie. But like I said,
do you have the Steelbook?
Do
you have the Steelbook?
No, there was one a long time ago. I don't have it though.
No, fair enough. I just ask these things. Whenever you bring up a movie that you like, I'm always like, does she have the Steelbook?
But yeah, that remake really ran with the whole Talbot family history and all that, and they even had Hugo Weaving as Inspector Aberline, famous from the Jack the Ripper fame, trying to investigate. But here it's like, yeah, they spend the bulk of the time of the movie on this weird stalker-esque type rom-com and the fortune telling of the gypsies and that type of stuff, and wondering what's going on. Oh, thank you, Eugene Bird. Very generous.
You're putting our kids through college. Thank you, Eugene. I didn't mean my outburst about the She-Hulk. I'm a toy fucking sponge, and I'm begging on the internet for it. But yes, it appears to be a baby Wolfman is the super sticker. And the baby Wolfman is waggling back and forth, saying thank you. And honestly, I thank you. You are a gentleman. And I don't know. Do we have like tiers of fans? Because Eugene is like, he's not even a junior Wolfman. He's a senior Wolfman. He's a Colonel Wolfman.
Yeah.
Brigadier Wolfman.
Brigadier Wolfman.
Anyway, Steelbooks are extra nice, Finity. Yeah, true story. Yeah. But also, Cat has one of the most stunning collections of Steelbooks.
Yes, and I've run out of room for them.
I know. I got to get more shelves myself. I actually went thrifting today, and I got the Jungle Book, the original animated. I got Wall-E.
That's a good one.
I got Apocalypto
Mm.
and Alan Arkin as Inspector Clouseau. $5 for 4 movies. None of them were made of steel.
Which one did Alan Arkin play Clouseau?
The movie is called Inspector Clouseau.
Oh, I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah, less than $6. So, how could I say no?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a fun sojourn. What would you give? How would you rate this film?
Oh yeah.
I don't feel bad about a short runtime on this video because, as I mentioned before, the movie itself is only 69 minutes.
Yeah. What would you give it?
Well, it is Ben from Cinema Gulp's favorite Universal horror movie. I got to take that into account because I appreciate his taste. But I'm giving this one like a 6.
Yeah, I agree with that. I give it a 6.
Holy shit, we've been on point every one of these reviews so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's paced well. It's not like really slow or whatever, and it's a movie.
For
I guess
69 minutes, it's kind of paced.
Well, I know. I mean, it doesn't feel slow or rushed or anything. It's fine. It just, some of the stuff with the character, like you mentioned, like, oh, we're fine with the werewolf living with us, but now that there's another one, we have to run, even though she has the ability to turn them back into regular people. And it's like, well, couldn't you just do that every time somebody has or teach them what the incantation is to protect himself? I don't know.
But everybody knows the incantation. Everybody knows everything. It's like, oh, werewolves? Yeah, oh yeah, no, we know about werewolves. Hey, Carol, did you hear about the werewolves? Oh yeah, no, ask Jerry. Jerry, what's going on? Yeah, werewolves. Like everyone knows about it.
Wait, didn't she still have the pendant thing when he attacked her in the woods?
Didn't do a fucking thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, she lived. She survived.
I know.
Yeah. So it must have done something.
Yeah.
No?
No, I mean, I guess. I mean, it survived because
he wasn't scared of it or nothing.
No, he didn't seem to be.
Yeah. Wait a second. You're a damn dirty ape. You're a dog-faced pony soldier is what you are. Anyway, yeah, so 6. Like, it's fine. I like it. I think that the effects on it are good. I'm impressed with the cast.
Yeah.
This is like one of those things where you get Bela Lugosi, Claude Rains, and Lon Chaney Jr. in the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
Happiness Pie.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it, especially because it is basically the length of an episode of television. It's well shot, well acted, mostly, and it's it's good looking, it's engaging, and it's only 69 minutes. So
yeah, cinematography is really good in this movie.
It is.
And again, the effects, the way they did the crossfades for the different phases of his condition was done really well. Particularly with the feet, that was really cool. I mean, the face was kind of just there's a lot of hair covering up, so you can't really see how they mold it with the skin, but that's still really cool to see. I did find it funny that when he's wearing his shirt, it's still like the shirt still fits like perfectly. It's not bursting at the seams or anything like that.
Right, but I kind of, when I see a monster movie from 1941, I kind of give it the Incredible Hulk purple pants treatment, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine. I get it, clothes. But no, like when he's in full makeup, like they even upturn his nose and whatnot.
Yeah.
to make him look more, Wolfen. And yeah, so I don't think it's like there have been cheap where they just, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example, and I don't want to say Teen Wolf because Teen Wolf actually had pretty good makeup, but it's
I like
not
this one.
it's not just like Shaggy Dog, like button nose kind of thing. Like they did
Yeah.
work with it, and it was reminiscent because we are dealing with Lon Chaney Jr., and it does refer me back to Lon Chaney Sr.
I thought this was a much better film than Teen Wolf, though.
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't like Teen Wolf. I was kind of bored with it.
I had a crush on Boof.
Who?
Boof.
Oof.
Scott's best friend, who was a girl that he didn't pay attention to. She was a cute little brunette.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen it. I have to look her up.
No, yeah, Boof.
But
join my Boof fan page at www.boof.com.
So I guess when he sneaks out at night as the Wolfman, he's looking for sustenance or something. Like he sees the grave.
I think it's bloodthirst.
Yeah, he goes to the gravedigger and he like kills him by biting him in the neck or something, but he doesn't, which is ironically like a Dracula thing. But he doesn't like ravage the corpse.
Doesn't he? Like something has to be said about the wolf's bane, right?
Yeah, because they were talking about that.
Which makes sense. It's called Wolf's Bane.
Yeah.
So is he drawn to it? Like because even when Jenny, remember how Jenny dies? And so Jenny dies, but on their way to go see the gypsies to get their fortune told, it's like there's Wolf's Bane about the place.
Yeah.
And
that might
so,
be how
I don't
they kept
know.
Bela at bay when he would turn into a wolf, or something. I thought it was funny too. Those ladies were like being really accusing, and how it was Larry, and they're being all confrontational about it. And then the minute Larry walks in the room, they all chicken out and run away.
Yeah, but the man was like a foot taller than all of those old women, and the reason that those women were there were like, my daughter was just murdered, so are we getting rid of this guy? And he walks in and says, if you don't get out, I'm going to murder all of you. I think they're pretty justified.
Say that.
Well, he was giant. Like, come on. I'm saying.
Tall. What does him being tall have to do with it?
No, not just tall. He's tall, beefy, and he's intimidating old women. The man's a dick.
He wasn't intimidating them. I mean, those particular ladies.
They were accusing him of murder, and he responded by saying, get out. Am I wrong?
I don't remember him telling him to get out. I remember him came in there saying he was visiting with the other daughter and then the ladies' retreat.
Oh, they were also slut-shaming Gwen.
Yeah.
They were saying, what was Gwen doing? I forgot about this whole aspect. Gwen is engaged to be married.
Yeah, that's something they kind of mention, and then they don't really bring it up again until the ladies complain about it, and then you never really hear about it after that. Like, where's this guy who she's supposed to be engaged to? Was it
and that's the thing. They go to the circus, they do the shooting range.
Yeah.
And then he's served his jealousy purpose. We're done with him in the story. We don't even have the good grace to kill him in a horror monster movie. Anyway, there are a couple of dangling threads that probably could have been. Apparently, there was a whole sequence that involved a bear.
Really?
It got cut out. It is in the trailers, though. So, yeah, with 6s across the board, a full moon, a bad moon horizon to lift from a subsequent werewolf movie. What, if I may close out with one question?
Yeah.
What is your favorite werewolf movie?
Ooh.
I expect the Kane to answer first.
I mean, I don't know. This one I find to be really iconic, but I don't really have a favorite werewolf movie, honestly. I mean, American Werewolf in London was okay. I'm not as high on that as everybody else is.
Sure.
And like I said, the Wolfman remake was kind of fun, but it was more obsessed with gore and all that stuff rather than scary. Granted, this one isn't scary either, but this one does have comfort with a breezy runtime. So yeah, I'm not really sure if I have a favorite werewolf movie. I don't think I do. Iconic monster, but I mean, maybe the perfect werewolf movie hasn't been made yet.
Well, and if I may answer my own question before I get to the chat and we bow, my favorite representation of the Wolfman is in the movie Monster Squad, but that's also my favorite representation of all of these Universal monsters. I think that's the Avengers of all of these Universal monsters. But if it were a solo werewolf movie, I do. Oh, Wolfen, starring.
Well, that's what DJ Playnights just said. Wolfen.
Yeah. Wolfen. Who's the main guy in Wolfen? He's the police detective, but it's a great werewolf movie. He played Hercule Poirot, and he was also in Aaron Brockovich. Albert Finney. Thank you, DJ Playnice. DJ Playnice with the win. I will send you a nickel. Canadian. I'm going to need a self-addressed stamped envelope. Wolfen is incredible. I didn't like The Howling. I bought the Blu-ray of The Howling, and then I sold it.
You did?
Yeah, I don't have The Howling anymore. I was bored. But yeah, no, my favorite.
I haven't actually.
Oh, and also Jack Nicholson's Wolf.
I've heard about that one. I have the 4K here. I have not yet watched it.
Oh.
I don't know if I haven't seen this film before, actually. I know that
Rob. Well, it is the season. You should check it out and let me know.
I totally will.
Ben loves it, I think.
I believe he does. Rob Bottin did the effects on it, just like he did with the Thing.
I don't know if I had the heart to tell him that I didn't enjoy it. We did a whole review about werewolves. And I don't know if I told him that I was like, meh. So I might have lied. I might have lied to my friend. I apologize. But it is a spooky season. Anyway, shall we give shout outs in the chat?
Sure.
I want to thank everyone for being here. We're at 54 minutes. I'm going to make the obvious 69 joke. I don't think it's going to come. I want to thank Angry Space Marine Finity for not leaving me alone. It's good to see you, sir. Apparently, block on Twitter or X is not going to be a thing anymore. So I'm sure we'll be seeing each other more frequently. Cinema Gulp, thank you so much for being here, Ben. I'm sorry about revealing my somewhat tepid response to The Hell. Eugene Bird, it is always a pleasure to see you. I hope you don't feel that I'm shaking you down. Lemon is all I need to say to that. Matt G. Taylor Swift. I still didn't get an answer. Is Taylor Swift greater than Disney Star Wars?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't know enough of her music, but I'm going to say maybe not.
What about the MCU? Is Taylor Swift better than the MCU?
No. As a whole, no.
Is Taylor Swift better than Doctor Who?
I don't know enough about Doctor Who to...
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Matt G, 6 you win. DJ Play Nice, it is so pleasant, and I love everything. Every time DJ Play Nice looks like the frog from One Froggy Evening. So, like that's what that avatar looks like to me, doesn't it? Come on. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. I think I said this before. Eugene Bird with the Wolfman sticker. I appreciate it. You are a gentleman, and I appreciate you being a gentleman and a lecherous geezer.
I wonder if this film would have been more interesting if they presented it more as like a mystery where you're not told who the Wolfman is and you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, the majority of this movie is just that weird subplot of the romance with the engaged woman, and I mean, you don't really get the sense of this level of terror and chaos like you have on the cover here, you know.
But there's so much of an allegory about like they talk about the sort of compulsive animal instincts of man, and it's like, okay, so are you making a movie about alcoholism here or what?
Right.
And it's like, and they weren't. I was like, I wanted this to be an addiction tale, and when it didn't show up that way, I was like, so what's the hook? You're just a predator. You were a predator before, and now you've been bitten by a predator, and you have no there's no
right.
addiction allegory.
Right. It does feel like it's an allegory for addiction or alcoholism or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's
I was kind of bummed because it wasn't there.
Angry Finity says, having Rob on your show was such an absolute coup, by the way. Yes, it was.
I'm sorry I missed it. I've never seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm. Oh, yes, there's Cinema Gulp does make a valid point. He says, the covers were always scarier than the actual film in those Universal monster movies. That's true. They did have these very dashing covers. DJ Play Nice. Yes, Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man with a Guitar.
Oh, sweet. So there you are. You can rock me like a hurricane. So we're good?
I think so.
And next week we are going to be exploring The Shape of Water. I mean the creature from the Black Lagoon. And that is also going to be actually that's going to be the newest movie that we're going to be reviewing.
Yeah.
1964?
54.
54. All right, I can't wait. Did we have a closing bit?
I don't think we do. But
I want to end the show.
Yes.
Yeah, and look at the fucking that's from the Dark Crystal.
No.
It's not from the Dark Crystal. I was making a bad joke.